Have you ever really stopped to think about what money is? I mean, we use it every single day, but it's so much more than just, paper and coins. It's an idea. It's a technology. And honestly, it's one of the most powerful inventions in all of human history.
All right, so to get why this invention is such a game changer, we have to go back, way back, to a time before money even existed. Let's start by picturing what that world was actually like. Seriously, think about it. No cash, no credit cards, no apps on your phone. If you wanted something, the only way to get it was to have something the other person wanted right back. This system is called bartering, and while it sounds simple, it has this huge, fundamental flaw. Let's make this real for a second. Let's say you're a goat herder. You've got tons of goats. They're valuable, they're useful, but today, you don't need another goat. What you really need is salt. Simple enough, right? So you go find the local salt maker and you offer up a trade. A goat for some salt. Seems fair. But there's a problem. Turns out the salt maker doesn't need a goat. What he needs is a clay pot. So now you're stuck. You have something valuable, but it's not the right kind of valuable for the person you're trying to trade with. And this gets us right to the heart of the problem with barter. Economists call this the coincidence of wants problem. It's a fancy way of saying that for a trade to work, you, the goat herder, have to find a salt maker who just so happens to want a goat at that exact moment. As you can guess, that's incredibly rare. It makes an economy super inefficient. Something had to change.
And that change, that better tool, was money. But see, money isn't just one thing. It's a technology that was basically designed to do a few very specific and very important jobs. The economist William Stanley Jevons nailed it way back in 1875 with this little rhyme. It's actually a fantastic way to remember the 4 big things that money does for us. Let's break them down. First, it's a medium of exchange. This totally solves that coincidence of wants problem. Our goat herder can just sell a goat for money and then use that money to buy salt from anyone. Easy. Second, it's a measure of value. It gives us a ruler to say, okay, a goat is worth 50 bucks and a bag of salt is worth $1. Third, it's a standard of deferred payment, which just means we can use it to handle debt over time. And finally, it's a store of value. You can save the money you make today and be confident you can spend it tomorrow. So we know money has to do these 4 jobs. But the stuff we've used as money, that has changed dramatically over the centuries. And this isn't just a story about materials, going from shells to gold. It's really a story about what and who we as a society decide to trust. Our journey kicks off with things that had value all by themselves, like barley in Mesopotamia, because, you could eat it. Then came a huge leap forward in ancient Lydia, the very first stamped coins. This was a guarantee of weight and purity. Trust shifted from just the metal itself to the stamp of a king. Then China blew everyone's minds in the 11th century with the first paper money. For a long time, this paper was just an IOU for gold, a system we called the gold standard. But then, in 1971, everything changed. The US dollar was officially untied from gold. What this timeline really shows is this epic shift between 2 completely different ideas about money. On one hand, you have commodity money. It has value in and of itself. The gold in a gold coin is valuable, period. But what we use today is mostly fiat money. The paper in a $100 bill is basically worthless. Its value comes purely from a government decree, a fiat, and, crucially, our collective belief that everyone else will accept it as payment. It's not a thing of value, it's a promise. Okay, so if the money in your bank account isn't really backed by gold, but by a collective promise, then who's actually creating it? Well, the answer is probably not who you think, and it kind of uncovers one of the biggest and most surprising secrets of our whole economy. So get this, you'd think the government prints all the money, right? But physical cash and coins, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's actually less than 10% of all the money out there. The vast majority, we're talking over 90%, is digital money created by commercial banks. So how on earth does that work?
All right, so how is all that digital money created? First, we have to forget what most of us learned in school. The popular idea that banks are just middlemen. You deposit your savings, and the bank lends that exact money to someone else. Yeah, that's not actually how it works, at all. The reality is way more radical. When a bank gives you a loan, for a house, for a car, whatever, it's not lending you someone else's savings. It creates new money, right then and there, on the spot. When the loan gets approved, the bank adds a new asset to its books, and at the exact same time, it just types the loan amount into your bank account as a deposit. Poof, that deposit didn't exist a second ago. It's brand new money created out of thin air. Think about that for a second. Nearly every single dollar that exists today started its life as a loan from a commercial bank.
So this incredible story, from trading goats to trusting gold, to trusting government promises, all the way to banks creating money with a keystroke, well, it's still being written. The evolution has not stopped.
I mean, for decades now, we've been shifting from physical to digital money, but the next step seems to be a fundamental challenge to the whole system. With the invention of cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin back in 2008, we now have this idea of decentralized money. Money that aims to exist without a central bank or a government managing the trust for us.
And that's the key takeaway, isn't it? That's the one thread that runs through this entire story. It doesn't matter if it's a cowrie shell, a gold coin, or a line of computer code. Money has never really been about the thing itself. It's always been a technology, a tool, built on one very fragile, very powerful foundation: our shared belief that it has value.
And this brings us right to our final question. For thousands of years, we've trusted kings, and then governments, and then banks to manage this shared idea. But as technology continues to change, what happens when that trust shifts? Will we start to trust an algorithm more than we trust a government? That is the big question we'll all be answering together in the years to come.